In this video, we will learn how to locate, edit, and submit an OG110FQ quarterly other water allocation form. To find the form, we'll click on Forms, Online Forms, and it'll bring us to this page. To find the form, we can type in the 110FQ in search. We could use advanced filtering and type the form name to find it. Or if we notice that it is actually second on this row here, so we can click on the hyperlink to bring us to section 1, form information. Here we will type in the organization, we'll type in the quarter and the year, and provide a brief description. Once that information is inputted, we'll click Save and Continue. From here, we can click on other sections of the form if we wish to input in that information. Here we're going to click on Form Information and go back to section 1. The organization, quarter, and year data cannot be changed. So if any time you notice that you have submitted for the incorrect quarter, year, or organization, please start a new form with that corrected data. The description, though, can be altered at any time. As you notice that we have selected a description that shows quarter 1 of 2020, when in fact we are submitting for 2021. To change that, we can click on the form ID. We can copy that data, go to Forms, Online Forms. We can go to Forms in Progress, click Advanced Filtering, input in the form ID, and we'll notice that our subject ID will show the quarter and the year for which we are going to submit, and we can see our description. If at any time I want to alter the description, I click Edit Description, and it can change this data to 2021. If at any time we lose track of our form, or say we go to lunch and come back, if we wanted to go back to our form in progress, we click Forms in Progress, type in the form ID, or we can type in the form name, subject ID, organization, or last modified date to actually look for our form. Once we have our form, we can go ahead, click Next, go to Section 2, Operator Information. For Section 2 of the form, Operator Information, here we can add in contacts. Here you will see that we have your name as the submitter, and we will have the agent name and information as well. If we would like to add in more contacts, we can click Actions, Add Contact. If the contact is already in WellStar, we can click on the role, and we can click on Find the Person. The person that would be added from this list is going to be people that are specific to the organization for which we have selected. If we select that person, we'll see the contact name, any phone number, or email that is associated. If this person is not within the organization or is not within WellStar, we can uncheck this box and we can add in their contact name, number, and email. Once that information is set, we would click Save, and that information would be populated here. Once you have added any additional contacts you feel needed for this form, go ahead and click Next to go to Section 3. In Section 3, EDD Submission, we can submit the 110FQ Quarterly Other Water Allocation Data using an Electronic Data Deliverable, or EDD template. To download the template, we would select Yes, download the EDD, and once downloaded, we will receive an Excel document in which we can input in the data for our fields. Here at the bottom, we have a Cover tab, the 110FQ Data tab, Field Descriptions, and Data Descriptions. Going to the 110FQ, here in gray, we can input in the operator, operator code, report period, date report prepared, report prepared by. The information here in gray will be saved to the EDD and does not get forwarded into the actual form. Here in gray below, we have our columns for our field, total water, and calculated water. The information for these three fields, for the field and calculated, should not be changed and will be created from the WellStar form, with the calculated coming from the different tabs here over to the right. Please make sure that the total water will match the calculated water values. Here for our example, we actually have already inputted in some of the data. Some of the fields we will input in numerical values. As you can see here, we have drop downs for yes and no. At the very right, for intended use of water, we actually have codes for which we can input. Please use the Data Descriptions tab to figure out which codes you need to here in the intended use codes. Some of the columns will actually use a type of water source, and water source codes. So please make sure that that information is correct. Please use the Field Descriptions tab to look and understand what the different column headers are for. Once we have inputted in all the information, including our total barrels, we can go ahead and we can save this form. I'm going to leave this value incomplete to show you what happens in WellStar if the values do not match up. Now that it is saved, we can go back into WellStar. We can browse for our file. Select Open. And as you notice, once the light has turned green, we can go ahead and click Next. In Section 4, you'll notice that once we have uploaded our EDD, the system will process it. And depending on the amount of fields that you have and the amount of data, you'll find that it takes a little bit longer for the form to process. Once you feel it's been adequate time, go ahead to the top of your screen and click Reload the page. Now, as you notice, we have a red error here at the top, and it shows us that we do have validation errors. So we do have two. We go into our table, we can see that we have a red X on Elwood and Elwood South Offshore. It does give us the validation to tell us what is going on, and as you can see in the second, we actually have errors and warnings for our rows. So to correct this, we'll click on Actions here, Edit Data. This will take us and show us that the total water is not the same as the calculated water, and that says it up here in our top. So to correct that, we'll change this to be the same. We'll click Save. And notice that it has turned green. For this one, to correct it, we'll click Edit Data. And you notice that we have two things. The total water is not equal, so we'll change that to 750. And we'll notice that here at the bottom, we have a red X for one of our water source codes. You can add in multiple water source codes. You can click Actions to edit that. And you'll notice that for this one, we actually have a missing amount of de-oiling. So we select that. Now that that is selected, we actually have a green check. Go ahead and save this. And now that we have all green sections, we can go ahead and select Next. Here in Section 5, Document Upload, we can associate any document specific to this form. To upload a document, click on Actions, click Add New, and here, put in the type, relevant date, description, and then locate your file by clicking Browse. Once you have updated and inputted in the form, click Upload to upload it into the WellStar form. If the document is already within WellStar, we can actually associate an existing document to this form. Locate your document ID, put that in, or select document ID, and then place in the document ID to locate that form. Once all of the documents have been uploaded for this specific form, go ahead and click Next to go to Section 6, Form Submit. Here in Form Submit, we can associate any online form that is already within WellStar. To do that, we click Actions, Add Form, we'd find our form ID, and then click that in here. If we'd like to add in any comments, we can select Comments down here, type in our comment, and click Add. Once you see that you have your comment, it will have a date stamp, your name, the organization, and then the comment listed below. Once everything with the form is complete, we have all 4 check marks for these sections. We made sure we have comments and anything relevant for this form. We can click this checkbox to certify that all statements are true and correct and complete to the best of our knowledge. We'll see that our name is populated. We can preview our submission before we submit. And once all the information has been verified, we click Submit to submit this form. This completes the OG110FQ Quarterly Other Water Allocation Form.